Alright, I think it's officially time to have a serious conversation about Alex fucking Bowman. Bowman the showman is underachieving, and whenever the lights shine the brightest, he's like Donald Trump. Now look, I am not saying that Alex Bowman is a terrible driver. When you dive into Alex Bowman's statistics in 2025, he is solidly a top 10 driver in multiple stats categories, and compared to previous seasons, Alex Bowman is slightly more consistent. In fact, if Alex Bowman gets 3 top 10s in the final 7 races, he will have achieved a career high in top 10 finishes. However, I honestly don't think this is a sign for a cute little celebration and a pizza party because of 2 reasons. Number 1, this is modern NASCAR where winning races and advancing in the postseason is what matters most. Number 2, and this is a little obvious, it's the fact that Alex Bowman is a Hendrick Motorsports driver. The standard at Hendrick Motorsports is different because every single time a Hendrick driver starts their engine, they instantly know that they have all of the resources at their disposal to go out and win any given race. In the Gen 7 era, Alex Bowman has consistently been the 4th best at Hendrick. Statistically, you can see that Alex Bowman does not pull the wins of a Kyle Larson or William Byron, nor the consistency of a Chase Elliott. However, I would say the most daunting thing about Alex Bowman is the fact that he does not make it far in the postseason. In the Larson, Elliott, Byron, Bowman era, Alex Bowman has never made it farther than the round of 12. Meanwhile, Larson, Elliott, and Byron pretty much make at least the round of 8 every single year. Now sure, people are going to bring up the rebuttal. Has Alex Bowman had a fair playoffs? Because in 2022, he got a concussion which sidelined him for a few races. In 2023, he had that nasty back injury that pretty much derailed his consistent 2023 start to the season. Then last season, Alex Bowman did what he needed to do, yet the 48 was a little too light and they got DQ'd. While it is fair to say that Alex Bowman has had bad luck in the postseason, the 48 team does not do themselves any favors in the regular season. In the first 26 races, they do okay to where maybe they get a win, maybe they finish top 10 in points, but they put themselves into a position to where they have to have a phenomenal postseason to where they can even say, yes, we're going to make the round of 8 or the championship 4. Alex Bowman has consistently been a playoff underdog in the Gen 7 era, which honestly is unacceptable. I understand that, yes, in 2025, Hendrick Motorsports is having a downer year, but even in that downer year, Kyle Larson has multiple wins, William Byron won the regular season championship, and Chase Elliott could quite possibly find himself in the round of 8. Meanwhile, we're talking about Alex Bowman being a round of 16 exit when this was honestly the weakest round of 16 in NASCAR history. Alex Bowman honestly just needed to do okay, and instead, the entire 48 team just completely f***ed up. So this was a catastrophic failure, and now the question is, why is the 48 team so incredibly disappointing? First, I want to start with Alex Bowman. Like I mentioned, Alex Bowman has been a solid driver, and maybe you can see that as a win. To be a little bit fair to Alex Bowman, he has had some nasty injuries in the last couple of years, like the concussion in 2022, breaking his back in 2023, and then that horrifying crash at Michigan. Alex Bowman was even quoted in saying that this was one of the worst crashes in his entire career. While it's unfortunate, this is the byproduct of being a 10th to 20th place team in modern NASCAR. When you do not have the speed at intermediates, short tracks, and road courses like your teammates, you put yourself into position where you're in the eye of the storm and have crashes like Michigan. I honestly think the lack of speed is also hurting Alex Bowman's development as a driver. Look at the one race that he was in contention to win this year. Alex Bowman, in the closing laps of the Homestead race, made a crucial mistake which then allowed his teammate Kyle Larson to pass him, which that pass would be for the win. While it's easy to say Alex Bowman choked, I think if the 48 had the speed to where Alex Bowman was consistently put into that situation, I believe Alex Bowman would have won that race. In many ways, it is raw speed that is costing Alex Bowman from being a championship contender. Maybe that's a testament to the 48 team, but in the playoffs, Alex Bowman showed that it's also the driver causing the team to lose track position, shown by his speeding penalty at Worldwide Technology Raceway. Alex Bowman, while solid, does as a driver put himself into uncomfortable situations, which costs him in both the regular season and the postseason. Although I will say it's not all on Alex Bowman, because NASCAR is a team sport. Alex Bowman's pit crew in this postseason was pathetic. It's honestly weird to say, because when you look at a sample size of 44 tire pit stops, Alex Bowman's team is in the top 25 percentile with a 9.7 average. Where were those pit stops in the postseason? Because while on average they're great, there are only 2 pit stops that people are going to remember when it comes to Alex Bowman's 2025 season. There was his pit stop at Darlington when the air hose malfunctioned and Alex Bowman had a stop that lasted nearly 40 seconds. Then the next week at Worldwide Technology Raceway, Alex Bowman had the potential to go out and get stage points in that second stage. But again, the 48 team would have a disastrous stop with the car falling off the jack, and this pretty much screwed up Alex Bowman's entire race. Hendrick Motorsports would fix the issue by transferring people from the 77 team over to the 48, and there weren't any issues at Bristol, but the damage was already done. Now the thing is, when you look at their consistency in the regular season, it's hard to really diagnose a solution, except for the fact that maybe this 48 team needs to practice how to handle disastrous situations. In the off-season, they need to practice how to mitigate where the car falls off the jack, or having an air hose break to where it doesn't take nearly a minute to get the car serviced. But you know what the most frustrating part of the number 48 team is? Blake Harris. It's interesting because when you look at Blake Harris from a surface level, his only successes are that he was the championship-winning car chief for Martin Truex Jr. in 2017, and that he f***ed Caitlin Vincey. Outside of that, you might ask, what does Blake Harris even do? Let me introduce you to Blake Harris's rookie season as crew chief. Harris in 2022 was impressive because he actually outperformed veteran crew chief Drew Blickensderfer and got the most out of Michael McDowell statistically. In fact, when you look at Michael McDowell, 2022 was far and away his best season when it comes to average finish and top 10 finishes. Blake Harris was supposed to tremendously improve Alex Bowman's performance. However, in year 3, I am going to be honest and say that Blake Harris is the Josh Williams of crew chiefs. On a smaller team, he did an incredible job punching above his weight class. At Hendrick Motorsports, consistently under his lead, the 48 has been 4th best. I've also noticed with Blake Harris is that his programs typically have a strong start to the season like 2023 and 2025, but then that program falls off during the summer stretch. However, I was still under the impression that Blake Harris was at least a formidable crew chief until this 2025 postseason. Blake Harris's strategy in this round was absolute shit, namely his strategy at Worldwide Technology Raceway. Okay, so the pit crew completely screwed up their track position in stage 2 and for the rest of the race. This should have been the moment where Blake Harris had the situational awareness to say, okay, if we play it conservative, we are going to enter Bristol in a must-win situation. We need to go balls to the walls, aggressive on strategy to try to fight and dig to get every last point we can get. Despite the opportunity arising for Blake Harris to run Alex Bowman long and hope for a caution, he plays it conservative and follows the leaders. To make matters worse, Ty Dillon causes the caution, Brad Keselowski, on the same cycle as Alex Bowman, ends up starting that final restart on the front row and gets a top 20 finish. Had Blake Harris kept Alex Bowman out on the track for a few more laps and gotten that caution, Bowman likely gets a top 20 finish and advances to the round of 12. This shows that Blake Harris sucks at strategy as much as Alan Gustafson, but even with Alan, he had his moments like Martinsville 2024 where he understood the situation. He is not a crew chief that finds creative ways to get ahead on strategy, and guess what? That costed the 48 dearly. So those three elements, namely the latter, are why the 48 team consistently just does not have the same caliber as the other three Hendrick teams. While 5, 9, and 24 fans get upset when they don't make the championship 4, Bowman fans over here are getting giddy about their driver just making the playoffs. Even in the pathetic scenario where Alex Bowman, a Hendrick driver, had to rely on external luck just to make the 16 driver field. To me, that is absolute insanity, and things need to change. So how would I change this 48 team for 2026? Beginning at crew chief, Blake Harris out. Now for who would be in, I would honestly say Alan Gustafson should move from the 9 to the 48. While the 9's performance isn't terrible, I honestly believe that the Chase Elliott Alan Gustafson pairing has plateaued. Therefore, I think while the 9 team starts fresh, the 48 team and Alex Bowman should get the stability that Alan Gustafson brings. Maybe he doesn't have the speed or winning pace of the 5 and the 24 in recent years, but Alan knows the expectation at Hendrick Motorsports. He knows that making the round of 8 is an expectation and not something to celebrate over, considering the fact that Alan has made the round of 8 in every year since 2017, including 2023 when he made the owners round of 8. Moving Alan over the 48 would be the indication that Alex Bowman, you're a solid driver, but now it's time to step up and become a championship contender. Considering how consistent Alex Bowman is, I would honestly give him 2 years with Alan Gustafson to try to show that he's a championship contender. If he succeeds, then I believe that Alex Bowman is a long-term driver at Hendrick Motorsports. However, if Alex Bowman is still performing the same, I would say that his seat should definitely be hot, especially if Corey Day continues to mature in the NASCAR Xfinity Series and shows that he is more than capable of racing on Sundays. Either way, Alex Bowman not being a championship contender in 2025 and being a round of 16 exit is unacceptable. It's easy to sit there and say, well, Alex Bowman is the 4th best guy at Hendrick. He's not doing that bad. And while Alex Bowman is a solid driver, this is still Hendrick Motorsports. The pressure needs to be on Alex Bowman to at least win 1 to 2 races a season and be a driver that can contend alongside his 3 teammates for the Bill France Cup. Anything other than that should be considered a massive disappointment.